In August 1977, the Big Ear radio telescope sat quietly beneath the Ohio sky, its massive frame listening for whispers in the cosmic dark. Then, without warning, something arrived. A 72-second signal, sudden, sharp and powerful, struck the telescope's receiver. No one was present. No one heard it in real time. But days later, astronomer Jerry Ehman reviewed the data printout and circled the strange burst with one word in red ink. Wow. The mystery had begun. The Big Ear was not a flashy instrument. It was old, vast and patient, mounted on an abandoned airfield and designed to passively scan the heavens. It had spent years searching for radio signals from deep space, part of the SETI program's goal of discovering extraterrestrial intelligence. Until 1977, it heard only silence. But that changed with a single anomaly. A transmission so unexpected, so perfectly tuned, it became one of the most famous mysteries in the history of astronomy. The burst was highly focused, extremely strong, and occurred at a specific frequency, 1420.4556 MHz, just above the hydrogen line, long regarded as a cosmic calling card. The signal had structure. It rose in intensity, peaked, then fell, suggesting movement across the telescope's fixed beam. It was not noise. It seemed purposeful. Whatever sent it wasn't random. It was brief, precise, and then utterly gone. Never repeated, never explained. A single voice in a sea of cosmic silence. 1420 MHz is not just any number. It's the natural resonance of hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe and a universal constant in astrophysics. Many believe that any intelligent life wishing to communicate would choose this frequency, and uniquely meaningful to any civilization studying the stars. The wow signal didn't just occur at this frequency, it seemed perfectly tuned to it, a deliberate choice, perhaps as though someone knew we were listening. Despite repeated scans of the same sky coordinates, the signal has never returned. Researchers tried for years, but the source remained frustratingly silent. Some suggest it was a one-off transmission. Others believe we merely caught the tail end of a distant conversation. Either way, it left behind no echo. But for those who heard it, scientists, believers, skeptics alike, it echoed in the imagination, a singular moment when the cosmos may have spoken. Ohio's plains hold more than farmland and college towns. Long before radio telescopes, this land echoed with Native American legends of spirits descending from stars. Some claim the land the Big Ear sat upon was once sacred ground, where sky beings visited in silence and fire. Folklore perhaps, or a forgotten truth. Locals whispered of lights in the sky for generations. Was the wow signal a modern echo of something ancient? A reawakening of an old, watching presence? After the signal, subtle changes unsettled staff. Some felt watched when alone at night. The wind seemed to shift oddly around the telescope's skeletal structure. A researcher once claimed to hear faint voices within the receiver's housing, too low to decipher, too persistent to ignore. Others laughed it off. She left weeks later. Though not officially recorded, these quiet murmurs spread amongst students and engineers. The Big Ear wasn't just listening. They feared that something had listened back and hadn't stopped. A university janitor in the early 1980s reported strange reoccurring dreams. A black sky lit by a pulsing waveform, red, jagged, alive. He couldn't explain it. He had never seen the WOW printout, yet his sketch matched it almost exactly. The dream stopped after he quit the job. "I heard it," he replied, "not with my ears, in my bones." Was it stress, coincidence, or did the signal somehow imprint itself on those near it? In 2017, an astronomer suggested that the signal came from a comet's hydrogen cloud. It was a tidy theory, scientific, natural, safe, but the data didn't agree. SETI researchers noted that comets produce noise, not narrow-band signals with such clarity and strength. The timing didn't line up. The idea soon faded. The signal remained unexplained. It was not random, not routine. It was natural. It was unlike anything we've seen before, or since. In the months following the signal, residents around Delaware, Ohio, began reporting strange lights in the sky. Bright, motionless orbs hovering silently over fields and rooftops. Some say they blinked in rhythmic pulses. Others reported that animals became agitated whenever they appeared. University officials dismissed it all as atmospheric distortion. But the frequency of reports, combined with the signal's timing, was difficult to ignore. Something had shifted, as if whatever called out was now watching. Technicians working near the equipment began complaining of headaches, nausea, and tingling in the scalp. One said it felt like a low-voltage hum beneath the skin. Electronic watches malfunctioned. Car radios buzzed as they passed the observatory, but only briefly, then returned to silence. The anomalies were dismissed as coincidence. But the incidents followed a pattern, always near the receiver, always short-lived, as if something unseen still lingered there, waiting. In spring 1978, biology students noted a strange absence. The birds had gone. The fields around the telescope, once alive with song, had grown quiet. Nests were abandoned. Not a single fledgling hatched near the equipment that year. Even migratory birds altered course, avoiding the telescope's shadow entirely. Nature had noticed something. The animals left, yet we remained, listening, recording, and wondering if we were truly alone under that dark Ohio sky. In 1992, a dusty reel was discovered in a storeroom marked post-WOW residue. It held hours of sky noise, but one 13-second burst stood out. It sounded like a long, distorted tone underwater. No radio interference matched it. No record of it was found in official telescope logs. One technician called it a ghost howl. The tape degraded soon after. But those who heard it never forgot the feeling it left behind. Jerry Ehman never claimed the signal was from aliens, but neither did he rule it out. In later interviews, he became noticeably reluctant to discuss it. Colleagues said he became quiet, distracted. "Too perfect," he once muttered during a lecture. It wasn't just data, it had intention. He passed away never knowing what he had circled in red pen, but in that brief moment, he may have witnessed a brush with the unknown. In 1988, Big Ear was dismantled. Its final components removed to make way for a golf course. Progress, they said. A new green for a quiet suburb. But not all were pleased. Some staff felt the site had become charged. Others claimed that after the signal, it had never felt normal again. They buried the telescope, but they couldn't bury the questions. What had it heard, and who or what had been listening back? In 2003, a radio hobbyist scanning near the hydrogen line caught a high-pitched tone, sudden, cold and clear. It lasted 10 seconds, then silence. He recorded it, tried to recreate it. Nothing came close. It wasn't feedback, he said. It felt intentional, like someone testing a microphone. The signal never returned, but he became obsessed with it. Like many before him, he heard the whisper and could no longer unhear it. RA 19 hours 22 minutes, minus 27 degrees, the celestial location of the WOW signal. Even now, telescopes return to it, but they find only stars. Yet observers sometimes report strange lensing effects, flickers, glitches. Once, a transient source appeared, then vanished. A trace, no cause, a blink in deep time. It's as if something's there, just out of reach. A door ajar in the void never fully closed. In 1986, a letter surfaced addressed to a SETI group. It mentioned external observational anomalies and electromagnetic persistence at Site D. Parts were blacked out. There was no name, no official stamp, but the references matched internal Ohio state logs. Personnel impact observed, equipment destabilization ongoing. The letter was dismissed as a hoax, but no one ever found who sent it, and the warnings it carried still raised eyebrows. What if the signal wasn't meant for us? What if we merely intercepted a fragment, stray code from a message not ours to receive? Like overhearing a whisper not meant for our ears, we may have caught only a slither, something mid-transmission, drifting between civilizations far beyond ours. We may never know, but that makes it no less haunting. We heard something, and it heard nothing back. In old logbooks, notes appear: power flickers, audio dropouts, equipment freezing without cause, always between midnight and 3 a.m, always during the hydrogen line observations. Engineers blamed old wiring, but the disturbances only happened on clear nights, and only when tracking the WOW signal's coordinates. Patterns formed, too subtle to prove, too persistent to ignore, like fingerprints left behind by something unseen, reaching briefly through our machines. The WOW signal changed the course of SETI research. It became legend, symbol, and obsession, a beacon from the dark that may never light again. To some, it remains science, to others, a calling. But in that brief contact, something fundamental shifted. Silence was no longer just silence. The universe spoke, or screamed, or sang, and for 72 seconds, we heard it. Today, the site is manicured lawn and peaceful pathways. A plaque marks the telescope's legacy, but some say they still feel something strange there. A hum beneath the feet, a static in the ears, as if the earth remembers what the sky once said and what it costs to hear it. The big ear is gone, but the message remains, carried not in data but in silence. The WOW signal came not through sight but through frequency, an invisible pulse across space, like a voice without a mouth, speaking a language without words. Radio is cold, pure, measured, but this signal felt alive. It had shape, pattern, emotion. That's what unnerved so many. It wasn't just heard, it was felt, across wire, through steel, beneath skin. SETI still listens. Machines still turn their ears to the skies, but the skies have not spoken that way since. Some believe we missed our chance, that the reply was silence itself. Others believe we were warned and politely left alone. But the universe is patient, and one day the silence may break again. The wow signal haunts because it is real, unexplained, unrepeated, a single whisper in the vast dark that may never come again. Perhaps it was a test, or a door left ajar, or the ghost of something we'll never understand. Whatever it was, it changed us, because in 1977, just for a moment, we weren't alone.